one more on the big mic.
Hey guys, friendly reminder, in about a minute, we have our presentation here by Home and Business Containers. They're going to talk about ship happens at homes and businesses, how to use a container for home and business structures. Pretty cool seminar, come and check it out. And if you're going to come again in the next few months for our January show, these guys are actually going to have a shipping container here as part of the home show. So you want to learn all about it. And if you head on over here to the stage area, we also got coupon codes for a few of our vendors, some more resource and informational flyers, and then a lineup of tomorrow's speakers. So thank you guys so much for coming out today. Don't forget we have one more show day left tomorrow. Bring your families and friends. And we hope to see you again very soon. Mahalo.
Got to stay on top.
Okay.
It's a good
Okay.
thing.
I will look.
Yep.
Okay, thank you so much guys for being here. Let's go ahead and start with our 3:30 seminar. Okay, I'd like to introduce Bruce from the Bruce for Home and Business Containers. Thank you, Bruce. All yours.
Thank you. Hello, my name is Bruce Baumgartner. I'm owner of Home and Business Containers. I would like to introduce my lovely assistant, my partner, my friend, and my wife, Quinn Baumgartner. As I said, my name is Bruce Baumgartner. I was born in Mountain View. I moved here in 2004. I very quickly learned I can't tell people I was born in Mountain View because they would come back and say, "Oh, brah, you're from the Big Island." I said, no, Mountain View, California. I moved to Hawaii, as I said, in 2004. Wouldn't want to live anywhere else. Matter of fact, when I was here in junior high, we were at the airport, and my mom said, "Are you ready to go?" I said, "I can just stay here. The beaches are warm, there's fish here." She said, "Get on the damn plane, kid." My father was a farmer. He then was a machinist and eventually became an electrical engineer. And I don't know if you know much about farmers, but they don't like to spend money and buy things. They usually will make it. If it breaks, whether it's purchased or made, they'll fix it. If it breaks, they'll fix it even better so it doesn't break in the future. So I really got to thank my dad a lot for all the knowledge and wisdom he gave me. I went to college and eventually worked at NASA as an apprentice machinist in their 2-year apprentice program. At the end, I quit because I wanted to go back into their electrical engineering program, and they were really kind of pissed off with me. And I realized afterwards they hired people from the machinist program to be actually machinist working for NASA. And if I completed the program, I couldn't go back into electrical engineering. I ended up starting a business in 1982 in California. I'm licensed in 2 states, both Hawaii and California. Going back, my dad is from Switzerland. I actually have a dual citizenship. I'm sure you could tell that by my Swiss accent. You're looking a little blank, kind of like the hotel guy in Switzerland in the Zurich Mountains. When I went up, I don't know if any of you have been to Switzerland, but in Switzerland, in the hotel, they have a little cubby hole where your passport is and your keys. Since I have a dual citizenship, it had a Swiss passport in the cubby hole. I walked up to the hotel representative after dinner and said, Bruce Baumgartner, can I get my key, room 304? He picks up the phone and immediately says, just a minute, I'll ring him. I said, no, I'm Bruce Baumgartner. He said, yes, he'll be down in a minute. I'm like, no, he can't be down because I'm here. So he opened up the passport, saw this American guy was actually Swiss, closed the passport, turned around, gave me the key with this horrible look on his face. I'm so sorry, Mr. Baumgartner, here's your key. So don't feel bad, you don't recognize my Swiss accent. They don't in Switzerland either. I've always wanted to build my own home, always. 10 years ago, I finally decided it's about time to do it. So I started looking at a variety of building structures. I looked at everything from dome homes, compressed plastic in Japan that you later fill with concrete. I looked at foam that you fill with concrete in the middle. You name it, I looked at it. I finally decided on looking at all the different homes, on a container home. I feel it's one of the best things to use for building a structure out. I've traveled throughout Europe, Asia, and Australia, including the United States. I've always loved when I'm traveling, looking at all the different architectures and things, and I always wonder, why did they put the door there? Why did they do this? Why did they do that? That's why I had a desire to build my own house. So I figured it could be as perfect as a Swiss time watch. Sorry, gray hairs, memory goes away with the color of the hair, so I have notes. This is me in China at the Magic House factory. Wow, look at all those beautiful houses and businesses. Well, I know you probably don't see houses and businesses there, but I do. And eventually after the talk, you will. Speaking of seeing things, can I see a show of hands? Who's from Oahu? Anyone from Oahu? Okay. How about anybody from Maui? Nobody from Maui. How about Hawaii? Big Island? The Big Land, otherwise known as the mainland? Okay. This is an audience participation speech. I know you weren't warned ahead of time, but I would like to hear from the audience what you've heard, thought, feel, think, or questions you have about using a container home for either a house or a business. I've actually got a list here that I went online and I asked, what are the potential drawbacks of a container home? And the AI came up with 20 different things, but I would like to hear what you've heard, thought, or feel, or questions you have on container homes. Any questions? Any thoughts? What have you heard about container homes? Is it noisy? I'm going to write that down because my memory's not always so good. Any other questions? How about, have you heard container homes look ugly? It looks like a ship. What the heck are you putting a shipping container next to my house? Yes, is that something? Show hands, you heard that one? How about they're hot? How about who wants to live in a box? It's a box. Who wants to live in a box? Well, let me show you the box we've made into a house. So it does look like a container home now, but the floor folds down. They're putting a rail. We don't use a rail. Remember, I work for NASA. So if you're clever about things, you don't need to use a rail. And we've done extensive design to make sure water doesn't get in. We've changed a lot of modifications. Some modifications, they told me, you know, we thought about that, but we haven't ever implemented it. One guy pushes the entire container into a house, into a structure. This one is empty, so it could be used as a business. It's a 20-foot, 9-foot, 6 inches high shipping container. So if you know anything about shipping containers, they travel across oceans with thousands of pounds, getting beat up by waves and surf and wind. It initially starts out at 120 square feet, but in a matter of less than a minute, you could see he just made living space for 314 square feet in less than a minute. But it still doesn't look that pretty still, right? Still looks like kind of an ugly container. So let's show you what ours looks like. Let's get a tour outside. Here's our container. You can see, I don't call it global warming, I call it global panic. People call it global climate change. I call it global catastrophe. So one of my goals in making this is to be as green as possible with the smallest footprint as possible, saving as much energy and resources as possible. So we have contained on the, I keep on calling it a container, now it looks like a house. On the house, you have solar panels across the top. You can't see in the back, but there's also a solar water heater which has a backup heater inside of it. So you're keeping all the heat out of the house. The front, you can see, it doesn't look like a container because you have all these lovely windows to have it nice, open, and airy. Looks like when you're inside, it's a big house, although it has a small footprint. Now, we're on the right side of the house. See, I didn't call it a container house that time. What are these? They're garbage cans, right? No. Come on, we're green. One is a garbage can, one is a recycling can. We all have to recycle. But what the heck are these chutes going into the house? Well, those are chutes, because I always thought it was stupid. Why do you put the garbage underneath the sink, and then you fight about who took the garbage out, who's supposed to take the garbage out, when they're supposed to take the garbage out? I'm hoping this will save some marriages. Next to that, we have the exhaust fan for the cooking stove, and above you can see the solar hot water heater that actually has a backup electric heater inside of it, so you're not putting a hot water heater in the house. Again, my wife complains at me, you think too much about stuff, but this ends up being the result of thinking too much. This is the left side of the house. As you can see, yes, I left the doors on. It does look a little bit like a container. But I did tell you I was Swiss, right? In Switzerland, they have a fallout shelter for every man, woman, and child, including guests. We tend to be prepared. That's why we carry Swiss Army knives. What if I need a knife? What if I need a caliper? What if I need scissors? What if there's a hurricane that hits Hawaii? You can close these doors again, and it becomes almost a big solid steel box again. We'll show more about that on the backside on the next slide. As you can see, the solar panels here, you can put additional solar panels if you have a lot of electric use, or like the other speakers talked today about having an electric car. which I think we all should have electric car, at least hybrid car, because that global panic thing. This is the back side of the house. You can see the kitchen here, the middle window is the bathroom, and the end is the bedroom. But remember, I'm also a farmer, so we don't throw anything away. We've had the manufacturer that areas of the windows they cut out in all of these. They take them, they weld an extra metal lip on it. You can then, I know we haven't had a hurricane in a while, but that means we're potentially overdue for one, heaven forbid. You can end up bolting the steel that was on where the window back onto here. Now you've got a solid, impenetrable house that's no longer a house. It's back to a box that's steel and can withstand the hurricane a lot better. You see, we had solar. In case you're an area you don't have water, this is actually an earth cooler. You can generate water. So if you don't have a water source, you can get something like that and hook it up outside and hook it as a water source. Here's an overhead view of the big bathroom. You notice we have two models, a big bathroom model and a small bathroom model. It comes out pretty close. The next slide. This is a small bathroom model, so it goes back a little further. This is the kitchen, of course. Look at me, don't I look like I like to eat? So we got to start in the kitchen. Plus, I was first a busboy and then a cook at Bob's Big Boy. Yeah, that's a Bob's Big Boy in California, not over here in Hawaii. Unfortunately, they both closed down, which is probably good for my weight because I like to eat there usually. But let's look at the kitchen. Here's our two chutes, one for garbage, one for recycling. I'm all about efficiency and time. You toss those out, and you're thinking, oh, God, the cockroaches are gonna just climb right in there, go in the house, or it's gonna stink. There's a rubber seal on those, so no smell comes in the house, and it keeps all the cockroaches out too. Next to that is the fan. Below there is a two-plate glass top stove. I love cooking, but I hate cleaning. So you just wipe it off, it's much cleaner. Here is the sink, and I am a total nerd, right? I did work for NASA, so that makes me halfway qualified as a nerd. So you're gonna love this sink. No sink is good unless, of course, it has a glass washer in the sink. Next to that, we have a knife holder. Why take time to get knives out of the kitchen drawer when they could be placed right next to the kitchen sink? Half the time you're on the kitchen countertop cutting stuff, so just leave them out. This has a drain below, so if you rinse it and drop it there, the water goes down into the drain. Above, we have a water filter. Again, being green, you're not going to get a whole bunch of plastic bottles from Costco and fill up our environment with plastic bottles. You're going to go to Costco and buy a silver water bottle and fill it up. Not only do you save the environment, you save a whole heck of a lot of water. Because when you actually price it out, the water is more expensive than gasoline. Go figure that. They don't do anything to the water. They just filter it. Next to that are the switches that control where the water comes out. This is where the techie part is. It has a temperature control, temperature readout for the water. The next two knobs are temperature and volume control of the water. As you can see, have you ever seen a sink like this? It has a waterfall for rinsing stuff and a rainfall. But wait, there's more. It has three extra items. This is a soaking tray. As you can see, it sits down within the sink. There's a little stopper in there so you can soak stuff like stinky fish. Open it up, the water drains down to the sink. You don't make smell because you're walking with the tray that's got full of fish and water and spills on the countertop and stinks. The next one is a colander tray for washing vegetables. And the last one is a cutting board. They actually have the cutting board out, but it actually sits along this rail, so you can put any of these items in your sink and position them around anywhere you want. really good because it looks really bad and it's embarrassing for me when you see a grown man crying because I was cutting onions on the cutting board. But with the water stream, with the cutting board, it cuts down on the onion smells and you don't have to cry. Kitchen. We have huge windows here, so when you're doing dishes or cooking, you can see out in the kitchen. These countertops here are fold-down countertops. Because it is a fairly small house, it allows you more prep space, or you can have small kitchen appliances that sit here. But they fold down. Speaking of folding down, this is a cabinet that the whole shelf folds down. As you can see, I'm not very vertically challenged. I can reach to the top of the shelf and grab stuff. Now my wife, on the other hand, I love her, but she is a little vertically challenged. Not a whole bunch, but a little bit. Inadvertently, she'll always ask me, hey, can you get the grinder up at the top of the shelf? I need to grind some herbs. No, you guys, not those type of herbs. Cooking herbs. No, not those type of herbs, those brownie herbs, no. Let's talk specifics. Cilantro, peppers, things like that. I love her, but inadvertently she always asks to get that grinder when I'm in the middle of doing something. With this, she can use it to grab the thing, bring it down to her. I can also use it, even though I'm not vertically challenged. I get to be able to see any cans or anything that are in the top of the shelf. Again, thinking about everything in the house. You may ask, why did you put the split air system in the kitchen? Well, if you think about it, where is the majority of your heat sources that generate heat and make your house hot? You have hot water when you're doing dishes, you have the stove, no need to sweat over the stove, and you have the refrigerators. Refrigerators, even the modern ones, still put out a fair amount of heat. So by putting the air conditioner in the kitchen, you cancel out the heat that those items in the house produce. Talk about rooming, right? This is sitting at the table, at the work desk, looking through the house. You can see there's plenty of room for a couch, a dinner table, and all of these windows open up. So it can be completely open air. But even if you close them, you still feel like you have an open space that you're living in. We put the bathroom in the middle. Here's a kitchen, here's a bedroom. But by putting the bathroom in the middle, it doesn't feel like it's a studio house. It's probably the same square footage or even less maybe than some studio houses. But by separating the bedroom area and the living area, you're not sitting in the kitchen cooking and looking at someone that's sitting in the bed. So that's why we put the bathroom in the middle. Speaking of the bathroom, of course, we gotta have a high-tech mirror here. It shows you date and time. The sink has a bowl in it and goes and has a one-piece bowl and toilet. But again, always thinking, why do we use the water to wash our hands and it goes down the drain to go nowhere and not be used a second time? This sink, when you wash your hands in the bowl, the water goes down and goes over into the toilet bowl for a second use. Water is expensive. Matter of fact, most of the time you see on your bill, it's a sewer water that you're paying for, not the fresh water. But still, why not use water twice? It doesn't make sense not to do that. So it cuts on your bill and it saves energy too. Here is the big bathroom. As you can see, we have a large window. Again, I hate cleaning, so I don't want any mildew or stuff going in the bathroom. By having a big window, you got a lot of air ventilation, keeps from having any mildew build up. Here's this seat. This seat holds 440 pounds. So I'm around 300 and something. Next week when I gain next week when I lose another 100 pounds, I can still use this chair. Or the following week when I gain 200, I can still use the chair. On the side here, you see there's a shower console. We gotta have a high-tech shower console, don't we? This is definitely high tech. At the top, we have a choice of a waterfall or a rainfall shower head. Going down on the side, there's a shower wand. There's a digital readout so you can adjust the temperature before you get in. It's too hot or too cold. These 4 shower heads are massage shower heads, so you get a nice massage in the shower. The 3 controls in the middle, one does the temperature, one does the volume, and one does the direction of where the water goes out. There's a spigot in the bottom for you to fill buckets, but these buckets aren't used for cleaning the bathroom floor, because this shower, you don't need to clean, this shower or bathroom, you don't need to clean the floor, but because if you notice, the entire floor is an Asian-style wet bathroom floor. So, and you see the infinity drain in the middle. Those are usually reserved for high-end houses. This is a high-end house, so we could not put an infinity drain in it. I'm lazy, I don't like to clean. So, if you have dust around the toilet and stuff, you're always wiping off the dust, you just take the shower head and you spray around the toilet area, and it all goes down the drain. Or if you have someone in the house that isn't very good directional aim, you can rinse that off and it goes down the drain also. As you can see, this is a view out towards the door. Now you know already, I'm not going to have a regular door, right? The first part slides open for smaller people like my wife. Once it slides open, then for big people like me, I can fold the entire door out of the way. It's a 3-foot wide opening, which also works if you have a handicapped person in a wheelchair, because you can roll in the wheelchair and sit them on the seat here for taking showers or go to the bathroom or whatever. This is our smaller bathroom. As you can see, it's pretty much the same. We don't have a glass divider like we do in the big bathroom, but in this we do have a rain shower head. It does have the wand, and it does have a spigot. So, sorry, no massage, and no waterfall. Looking a little closer, it still is small tech. It's a smaller one, but we still have the digital readout. There's still controls of where the water flows out of, and it does have the temperature control on it. Same thing. This is a little bathroom. There's not a huge difference between the little and the big bathroom, besides the fact that in the big bathroom there's a glass wall. Here you'd put a shower curtain. Here we are sitting on the couch. You can sit on the couch in one seat. You can talk to someone in the kitchen. You can see here over towards the desk, here's an armoire. This is a little closer image. As you can see, when you're sitting in the desk, you're looking out. Big, huge area. You're not looking at a wall, feel like you're living in a small space, even though it has a small footprint. Again, the armoire. Look at that. Of course, I put wheels on it, and there's a little box underneath to have storage space under the bed being able to be used. So this actually rolls out. The little black slip there, that's a flat screen television. So you can roll your armoire out and have it facing towards the couch to watch TV. Or if you're in bed, you can sit there and watch the TV in bed. You'll notice we place the window down level with the bed. Nothing drives me more nuts when I'm traveling. You get to this hotel room, I'm sure this has happened to you. You look out the hotel window, there's a gorgeous view. You lay down in the bed and you're looking at the hotel wall because the window's up here and the view's above that. So you either got to sit up or stand up to see out the view. In my opinion, why put a window in if you can't be lazy, lying in bed, looking out, seeing the lovely view? In addition, you notice we have 2 windows here. That's for cross ventilation, to let air go through. King bed. I'm a tall guy. So this is actually a bedroom, although there is room to reach over and change the sheets. If you put a smaller bed in there, you could actually probably walk in it. But I'm a big guy, so I need a big bed. Here's our floor plan for the large bathroom. Here's the small bathroom. As you see, the only difference between the two, we have a little more space in the living area. So, talking about your thing, it's noisy. We've gone through with the factory, and this thing has more insulation than the standard house that's built in Hawaii. We do spray-on foam. We do spray-on foam because another big complaint about steel structures are they rust. So by doing spray foam on the inside of the walls, water can't get to the steel and rust it. On the outside, of course, on the outside of the house, you have to paint it just like any other house. But the other complaint, didn't I say the house looks ugly, right? Can you show me the ugly side, the back side? This isn't ugly enough. The back side, 3 more clicks down. 12 more clicks up. Okay, so yeah, here is the ugly side. But look at this. This is a molding. They're in this first row here at the very front. You can put this on the back wall or even the side walls of your container house. Now it no longer looks like a container house. It looks like a house. Being a farmer, I'm actually going to put lattice work on here. And what kind of vines are we going to have growing on there? Lily koi vines, because I love beautiful flowers and I want to be able to eat something. Why grow something and water it if you don't get food off of it? That would make it look no longer like a container. Was there other things since my forgetful mind of what we mentioned?
About maintenance.
Oh, maintenance. Yeah, another thing on the list. Maintenance. People say container homes don't rust. They're full of it. It's high corten steel. It still does rust. So what we've done with the factory is we said when the containers come out, before you get them shipped over here, we want to have a silicone coating on the top of the roof because I actually have 6 containers that are end-of-life shipping containers on one of my properties, 2 of which the roofs are rusted because they got dented and the dent where the water sits, they rusted through eventually. So containers do rust, but not when you put a silicone roof on it, it doesn't. Any others? Oh, speaking of that, so another thing is containers. We don't want to use a container. There are all kinds of toxic chemicals that get shipped in them. These containers are what they call single-use containers. You may not know this, something I learned when I was looking into containers. You can take the number on your container and go onto a website. You can see everywhere it's traveled and what exactly was in the container. So before they buy these single-use containers, number one, they're not all beginning to be rusted out like my end-of-life containers, but they also verify there was no toxic chemicals or pesticides or nuclear waste put in them to use them. Are there any other questions? My talk bring up any other thoughts or questions? No? Looks like I must have done a good job. Structural modifications. Yeah, containers are real strong, but as soon as you start cutting holes in them, they become extremely weak. We've gone through with the factory and said, look, being a NASA guy, I want to over-engineer. It's not like the space shuttle, 50,000 parts all to the lowest bidder. We had them put extra steel in here, thicker than they normally use around the windows to hold everything in place. Okay, this was an odd one. I'm like, why is this? They put on there, difficult to hook up utility connections. How the hell is it difficult? On every house you have a water line, you have a sewer, it's the same. Quinn said I didn't mention about the blueprints. Everyone, right? There was a talk earlier last night, or late last night, about blueprints and the changes we have in the building permitting process. You know, it used to be like 6 to 8 months, and then they improved it. They got all computerized, but they only trained half their people how to use the computers. So the 6 to 8 months went into like a year and a half, sometimes 2 years. I have a commercial property where we're going to be displaying these containers. It took me a year and a half for a driveway apron, a fence, and a parking lot. Ouch. So, we don't want you to suffer. So not only do you have something that when you want to have a house, you put the money down, takes a factory in China 60 days to make it, it lands in Honolulu. We're going to go to Honolulu and have the drawings stamped with, I gotta figure out what their acronym, I hate acronyms. It's M&M, which is not the M&Ms that I like to eat. But M&M plans, materials and methods. So what this does is we have plans that have already gone through a structural engineer, an architect, and everything. They get brought to the city. They take all the time to review it, and once they're stamped, and I verified this with the building department person that was here last night, you always got to ask 3 people in the government, and you get the answer the same 3 times, you know it's probably true. She said, yes, this will drastically cut down on the time for processing a permit because all that review of the plans are all done. So you build your footing for where the house is going to go, you drop it down, all you have to do is schedule the inspectors to come out and look at it and you're done. But you know you can kind of cheat the process. You can put wheels on this. If there's wheels on it, it becomes a trailer. So that even speeds up the process faster. So we're planning on having the plans stamped with M&M on both Oahu here and Maui. But keep in mind, when the plans are stamped like that, you cannot change a single thing. You can't change a light switch location, you can't change the sink valves, nothing. And that's another reason why we're starting off with just 2 basic plans. When they're in the factory and there's basic plans, they're repetitively making the same things, there's no chances for mistakes. But I've gone to China twice now. This was the 3rd factory that I finally decided on because the quality was impeccable. The nice thing about this is you don't have to worry about hiring a contractor that goes out of business or doesn't show up because the weather, the big waves on the surf on the North Shore, and they decide to go surfing rather than to come to build your house. So it's all done. You'll see an actual demo both at our commercial property and in Waianae, and next year we will actually have a container here at home at the show that you can actually walk inside and see it. We do have sign-up sheets in the back. If you put your name, telephone number, and email, I promise I won't sell your name to anyone. Scout's honor, even though I wasn't a scout. We won't email you tons of times or call you. I will call you twice, and I will email you twice to say, hey, look, the containers are here. Get a hold of me. I would love to give you a personal tour where you can see, touch, and feel the container so you see exactly what you're going to get before you get it. Oh, Quinn was talking about ADU units. The ADU, accessory dwelling units, the square footage is 500 square feet, allows for a single, 5,000 square feet, allows for a single accessory dwelling unit to be put on your property. Above that, you can potentially have 2 units, which has been approved by the governor, but it's going to take potentially up to 2 years before the cities figure out all the specifics on having a second accessory dwelling unit. But one of the things besides my initial thing was for me, but once I got into doing a container home for me, I realized all the fire victims in Maui, their houses are burned, they're in hotels, they have to stay in those. This thing you can put on you could, it doesn't have a sewer hookup, but you could always get a tank where the sewer could go into it. You could get the water generator, and you also have electricity. So you have everything you can need in. As soon as their lot gets clean, they could pop something like this on their lot and they can live in it. Thank you. I would like to thank you for attending. We can be contacted at or you can look at pictures of the website and information at www.808hawaii.com. Again, short, easy, simple. Emails are info at the same website. Phone number 808-941-4111, extension 400. I would like to thank you for attending. I would like to thank my lovely Vanna White, my friend, my partner, and my wife, Quinn Bumberger. Thank you so much.
For Bruce and Queen, that was fascinating. I'm like, no, I want to live in a container home. Thank you so much, you guys. Yeah. So we have the sign-up sheets if you guys are interested in finding out more information. They are going to be one of our exhibitors for the January 2025 show, so come check it out. They'll have a model shipping home container here. And then also there's that contact information on their website. We do have a couple more seminars left for the day. So we have the Better Business Bureau starting at 4:30 with Lisa. She's going to be talking to us about a checklist for hiring a good contractor for your home and remodeling project. So that's on at 4:30. And then at 5:30 we have Tag by Design by Tag. She's going to talk to us about how to read blueprints. And again, if you missed any of the seminar presentations today, you can find it on our website, and they are going to be returning tomorrow. Mahalo. Aloha. How's everyone doing? Thank you again for coming out to the big EIA home show. I know it's later on in the afternoon. Still going. We still have a lot of visitors here in town. Come and check out the seminar presentations happening in the back of the hall. We just finished a very, very fascinating presentation seminar by Queen and Bruce of Home and Business Containers. They're going to be displaying a model shipping home container at the BIA January 2025 show. So make sure you come back in a few months, check that out. Also, we have a lineup of great presenters for the rest of the evening. At 4:30 p.m., we're going to have a presentation by the Better Business Bureau. Lisa will be talking to us about building or remodeling your dream home. And what does it take to hire a contractor that you can trust? And at 5:30, we'll have Tag from Design by Tag. He's going to help us understand the conceptual design as well as additional context to reading blueprints. And what's the working knowledge of a blueprint reading? And then again, if you haven't been able to attend any of the seminar presentations today, we do have one more show day tomorrow. Come check us out tomorrow. Our first seminar will be starting out at 9:30. We have John Moreland from JOB Technologies starting tomorrow morning, kicking us off with a topic called energy equity and monitoring of home energy waste. And then we have our title sponsor, Atlas Construction, who will be talking to us about how to have one more home show day tomorrow. And we're still going on today until 8 o'clock. So thank you. Oh, and one more thing. I do have an announcement, lost and found. If anyone is looking for a car key, if you are missing the keys to your car, please come see the registration desk in the back and tell us what your car model is and your license plate number. We have a missing car key that has been returned to us, so come and see us at the registration desk. Mahalo, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Bruce. You guys are so cute. You guys are so cute. Thank you. Yeah, my biggest thing about like I wondered about how do you guys do the heat? You know, because it's all like a metal.
Yeah, well, the sprayed in